Side of the road?
No, no. You know what? That was one thing that when my dad said sit, I sit. I sat. You know, and so if we got to doing something that we shouldn't do, all my mother would have to say is, "I'm going to tell your father if you don't." So then we straightened up pretty quick, you know. So.
What was your father like?
He was a nice person. He'd do anything for you, you know, if you was straight with him, you know.
Really?
So,
What was your father's occupation?
he was a mechanic. That's what he was mostly, as a mechanic. But he had farmed, you know, when he was young, because his parents both was farmer. Oh, my dad run a garage in Texas, I think it was. I forget where it was for sure. But anyway, there's a lot of people that would come in and they'd say, "Well, I need this done to my car, but I don't have the money. I'll have it next week, or I'll have it next." And then he'd do the work, and then you couldn't see the people anymore, you know. And so Dad would send me out collecting, you know. And,
really?
Oh yeah.
Any stories that you relate to?
Yeah. I went out and they were in the bar drinking in a beer parlor, you know. And I used to go in there and tell them, "We need the money now, and I want it now." So,
Did they give it to you?
yeah, I got it most of the time.
What'd you do?
And I just told them, what do you guys expect? You know, you expect to get this stuff for nothing and all that. And then what got me one time was the most was when a minister came up, and he wanted the work done, and he thought, well, since he was a minister, that my dad should do the work for nothing.
Really?
Yeah. So.
What was your dad's reaction like?
Well, he didn't like it at all. And then I went up and told the minister, I said, "You know, I don't care who you are." I says, "Even though God don't pay your bills, and so I want we need the money and we want it now." So, but we'd keep the money in then pretty good. So, but it was at that time there was times weren't that great, you know, and we also had a CC camp right there where the guys would come in, you know.
Was that kind of part of the?
And those guys had cars, and they'd come in, want work done, but they usually paid their bills, so.
Out on the hills of glory land, so happy and free at God's right hand, they tell of a place through marvelous grace on heaven's bright shore, on heaven's bright shore. Pilgrims on earth someday will go to live in that land forevermore, while trusting in Him who died for sin.
In Colorado, we had a plaza mine up there, and Wilbur and I both was working there, and so we had the mine shack was where the shaft was. The elevator was, you go down in the, and we had step ladders too. But we'd sleep in there all the time, and then in the morning we'd get the pump going because we had water down there, and we had to pump the water out so we could go down to work. But we did that for quite a while, and then
what was that like? Was it hard work?
It was hard work, yeah. And yeah, but see, Wilbur, Saval,
I'm not sure if I've met Wilbur or not.
Saval and Wilbur, they died. Saval died first, and then Wilbur, when they lived in Azusa.
I might have met them.
Yeah, because Saval had a nice house, and he had a big patio like this. But Wilbur lived with the folks most of the time.
Really?
Yeah. And
Never ventured out on his own?
Well, he did, but I don't know why. He just come back home always, and
Really?
and until my folks when they passed away, then why he still had the house. He kept the house and used it for storage stuff. And he's had a a lady friend of his own, you know, that they got together. And I don't know if they ever got married or not, but. But anyway, he had a heart attack finally, and I didn't. He and I didn't get along. He'd see eye to eye on things. So.
What was his? Did that start when? Do you recall anything kind of about your childhood growing up with him? That was there kind of personalities there?
It could have been
described
personalities, yeah, you know, and so I just and the women some of the women he was with, you know, they. Matter of fact, one time one of the girl lady's friend's mother called up and said she was an attorney, and if I didn't interfere with Wilbur and Dottie, that she was going to sue me, you know.
What did they refer to as interfering?
That I was trying to get him to go with another woman, which I didn't. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
But anyway, that when that blew over, I never cared for any of that group,
Yeah.
you know. And so Wilbur never had a child of his own, but he adopted one, which they have now, which is still alive. And before Wilbur passed away, she called me and asked me if I would call Wilbur, because he's got has a bad heart, and he may not live very long. And I said, well, why don't he call me? I said, he's the one that caused all this. And so, but I never did call him or never did go see him when he passed away even. So.
Any regrets?
No, not really. Not really. Because, I don't know, I just the attitude and all that, you know, it just
because there's a medical problem doesn't mean that it doesn't change.
But when Saval had a problem, he was in a hospital. We went to see him all the time, you know, and even when he was in his last days.